Willie Nelson, a country music legend and an American cultural icon, was not without his share of sadness and hardships in his life. Despite his immense success in his career, his personal life and family troubles caused him deep sorrow. The greatest sorrow in Willie Nelson's life was arguably the loss of his family and the challenges he faced in his personal relationships. His early years were not easy. Although he overcame many difficulties in his career, looking back on his life, he could not help but feel regretful about what he had lost. His relationships with his loved ones were not always warm and fulfilling, and that created sorrow that haunted him throughout his life. One of the greatest sorrows Willie Nelson experienced was the loss of his family members. Although he had a new family, the loss of those who had passed away, including his children and ex-wives, was always a painful memory in his heart. The death of family members was something that he always had to face with a heavy heart, especially when he could not fully do the things he wanted to do for them throughout his life. Not only family losses, Willie Nelson also had to face sadness from mistakes in relationships. Although he was a person with great love for music and family, problems in his marriage and relationships created great mental shocks in his life. Although those relationships did not last, they also left indelible sadness in his soul. Willie Nelson is one of the greatest artists in American music history, but to get to where he is today, he had to go through many challenges, failures, and relentless efforts. Although his career is associated with great success and worldwide recognition, Willie Nelson's path to success was not easy. One of the major difficulties that Willie Nelson faced was starting his music career at an inauspicious time. Coming from a poor family, he had to work many jobs to make a living before entering the music industry. The early years of his career were not easy, as he had to fight with financial hardship and lack of recognition from the public. The failures in attracting public attention and unsuccessful attempts made Willie Nelson feel like he would never make it in the music industry. However, the failures did not make Willie Nelson give up. He persisted in his passion for music and continued to innovate. One of the major turning points in his career was when he moved to Austin, Texas, which opened the door to a new career. With a combination of traditional country music and his own unique style, Willie Nelson gradually established a foothold in the hearts of audiences. Despite his many great successes, his efforts were not always rewarded immediately. In particular, there were times when he felt exhausted because he did not achieve his goals. The times he faced failure in his work that made him cry because of the feeling of helplessness. But it was at those times that his love and passion for music helped him overcome all challenges. Songs like On the Road Again and Always on My Mind brought Willie Nelson to new heights, not only in the U.S., but also around the world. Besides his successes, Willie Nelson also faced many failures in his career. His unfair treatment in some music contracts, financial problems, and disputes with record labels led him to go through very difficult times. These failures not only made him feel disappointed, but also gave him a reason to rethink his career decisions. However, thanks to his resilience and passion for music, he overcame these difficulties and continued to create valuable works for posterity. Willie Nelson is not only famous for his massive music career, but also for his achievements in changing the music industry, helping the community, and promoting important social issues. One of the greatest achievements that Willie Nelson always strived to achieve was the recognition of his musical talent. Despite achieving widespread recognition, he always strived to reinvent himself, not only to become a legend, but also to maintain his form and creativity in the final years of his career. Not only stopping at music, Willie Nelson also wants to use his influence to create positive changes in society. He has participated in many charitable activities and helped people in difficult circumstances. His initiatives in advocating for farmers' rights, protecting the environment, and encouraging the use of renewable energy have made him an icon not only in music, but also in community activities. One of the achievements that Willie Nelson is very proud of is that he and his colleagues created and developed the music genre outlaw country, a music genre that changed the entire country music industry. With songs that reflect real life, full of thoughts and emotions, he has inspired many young artists later. Willie Nelson's career is not only about music, but also about the change and development of modern country music. Willie Nelson's love and marriage can be said to be a journey full of challenges and difficulties. Although he was married many times and had many relationships, those relationships were not always smooth. One of the great sorrows in Willie Nelson's life was his failed marriages. Although he had experienced beautiful love, his career and his relentless dedication to music prevented him from spending enough time with his family. Divorces and breakups left indelible scars in his soul. However, when he met Annie D'Angelo in 1991 and married her, Willie Nelson found a sincere and stable love. Annie D'Angelo became an important partner in his life, helping him overcome many challenges and difficulties in both his career and personal life. Although their busy work prevented them from being together much, the love they had for each other made their relationship stronger. However, the difficulties in life and career sometimes still create challenges in their relationship, and sometimes Willie Nelson cannot avoid feeling lonely. The sadness in Willie Nelson's love and marriage is not only the separation, but also the feeling of not being able to fulfill the role of a husband and father. He is always busy with his career, and those are the times when he feels the lack of family affection, the lack of closeness with loved ones. Willie Nelson is not only a music legend, but also a loving father who always considers his children as the greatest pride in his life. Despite the ups and downs in his career and relationships, Willie always gives his children boundless love, even though there are times when his work requires too much of his time and attention. With a large family consisting of children from different marriages, he always tries to create a warm, loving environment for all of his children. Willie Nelson has a total of 8 children: Lucas Nelson, Micah Nelson, Billy Nelson, Lana Nelson, Paula Nelson, Amy Lee Nelson, and Susie Nelson. Each child has their own life and different career choices, but Willie is always proud of all of them. His son, Lucas Nelson, who entered the music industry and formed his own band, has always been the child that Willie pays special attention to. Lucas also inherited his musical talent from his father and has shared that Willie is a great inspiration in his career. In addition to Lucas, Micah Nelson, also a musical artist, has always been a companion in many of Willie's creative projects. Although he loves his children and is proud of their achievements, Willie Nelson is always worried about their future. As a father, he cannot help but think about the challenges his children will face in life. He understands that, like anyone else, his children will have to overcome difficulties, face failures, and social pressures. Along with the expectations for his children, the worry about whether they can find their own path and become useful people for society is always something that makes him think. Willie Nelson, although a musical icon, is also a normal father with his own worries. Sometimes, the late nights and long trips meant that he couldn't spend enough time with his family. He couldn't help but feel that something was missing, as his family was the most important thing to him, but work and touring always took up too much of his time. However, his love for his children was undeniable. Despite the difficulties, he always found a way to spend time with his family, even if it was just for short moments. The whole family was an important part of Willie Nelson's life, and he always hoped that his children would find their own way, despite the challenges of society. Time spent with his family was the greatest reward for Willie. Although his career had brought him great success, it was the moments of sharing love, the moments of seeing his children grow up healthy and mature, that he considered the greatest achievements in his life. The values he imparted to his children, about compassion, dedication to society, and most importantly, family unity, will forever be their baggage in life. Although he was not always present for his children on important occasions, his presence was not only physical, but also a strong spiritual influence. What he taught his children was not only through words, but also through actions. A loving father who always watched over his children's growth. That was the image that Willie Nelson wanted to leave behind. His children not only inherited his talent, but also learned good values about life and people. Lucas Nelson, the eldest son of Willie Nelson, is one of the people who knows best about the hardships, sorrows, and challenges that his father has gone through. Lucas, as a musician and a companion of his father in many musical projects, has always shared that he saw Willie's endless sacrifice and dedication to his career and family. Although his father is a famous and beloved person all over the world, inside, Lucas knows that Willie also faces pain.